Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Yes Prep Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you all here this morning. We have some great institutions here to share a little bit more about what each of them do. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you understand the format and a few other housekeeping items before we kick things off. So each institution will have 6 minutes to share with you all today, but I encourage you to ask your questions throughout the entire session. So there's no need to save those until the end. Your camera and microphone are off and they'll remain off throughout the full session, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You'll want to send all of your questions through the Q&A. I also want to remind you all that this session is being recorded, and so if you need to return to any of this information after today's fair wraps up, you'll be able to do so at strivescan.com/yesprep. And with that, I want to go ahead and pass things over to our first presenter, which will be DigiPen Institute of Technology.
Hello, thank you everyone. I'm excited to be here. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll just jump right into it. So again, my name is Mike. Of course, if you have any questions about the presentation, let us know. We're more than happy to answer your questions. But again, I'm here representing DigiPen Institute of Technology, and if you're scratching your head and you're like, what is that? That's perfectly okay. We're a four-year private school in Redmond, Washington, and we specialize just in these four areas you see up on your screen. So computer science, game design, digital animation, and music and sound design. So essentially the necessary skill sets to develop video games, software, technology, interactive media, and really anything in between. And again, we're really close to Seattle. So if you've never heard of Redmond, we're like on a good day, like a 30-minute drive from Seattle. And of course, as far as like what's in the area, of course, like we have like Pike Place Market, the Space Needle, and a lot of really beautiful scenery as well. So if you like big tech and if you also like technology, this is kind of a beautiful amalgamation of both. But beyond just like where we're at, who's in our area, and the answer is hundreds of companies, literally hundreds with an S. It's really exciting that we have, of course, like close to us, and this is just a brief snapshot. There's many, many more, but we have Bungie, 343, Nintendo of America, Valve, Sucker Punch. So if you're a fan of video games in the audience and you have a favorite gamer franchise, there's probably a pretty strong chance it was developed near our backyard. As far as our school is concerned, we've been around since 1988, and our graduates have been credited on more than 1,600 commercial video games. So if you're sitting out there and again, you have a favorite gamer franchise, strong chance one of our alums was helping develop it in some capacity, more often than not. We have an average class size of 18. We're the first school in the world to ever offer a video game programming degree, which we're pretty excited to, of course, have been a pioneer for. And if you look around along the bottom here, I won't read all of them, but long story short is our students have won a lot of awards. They work very hard and they do some really stellar things, which is exciting, of course, to celebrate. But let's go ahead and talk about best return on investment. This is a really fancy way of saying, hey, you can come here and it's been statistically proven to be a good return on your investment. Georgetown University Center on Education basically looked at approximately 4,500 colleges and schools and said, hey, over 40 years, DigiPen was in the top 1% in the United States and #1 in Washington State for if you put X amount of money into your curriculum and get X amount of money out as a working professional. Hey, it's a pretty good investment, actually. So that's really cool to say. Again, you can go to school to learn how to develop software and video games and interactive media, and you can get out and you still pay the bills and do quite well for yourself. Again, we talked about these a little bit earlier, but degree programs at DigiPen, again, do devolve into these categories here. So music and game design and computer science and digital art. Do you like to create the art assets? Do you like drawing and painting? Do you like to program? Do you find yourself fiddling with code, C, Python, stuff like that? Are you into game design? Are you sitting there when you're playing games and thinking to yourself, this mechanic worked really well. I wish they had done this, and what if they tried out that? If you're sitting there and thinking like a designer, that program might work well for you. Or if you play an instrument, guitar, bass, vocals, piano, and you like to create sound effects and soundtracks for these experiences, that would probably be in your wheelhouse. And so how do we get, students that are excited about these things to working in the industry? And the answer is quite simple. It really falls down to our academic approach. Like anywhere you go, you're going to buy books, you're going to hear in lecture halls from really profound professors. But the other side of that coin that we think really cements the experience here is project learning. In other words, like really boil it down, you learn how to do the thing, sure, but then you go out and you literally do the thing. So you learn how to program, you learn how to create art, you learn how to master your instrument or how to design experiences, but then you go on interdisciplinary teams and then you start creating those experiences as early as that first year. So long story short, you start making video games. So again, don't worry, you don't have to be the jack of all trades. That's where the interdisciplinary teams part comes in. So artists come together with programmers, musicians, and designers, and you all, like you would see in the industry, again, develop games from scratch. It's really cool to see. Let's talk a little bit about the application process. As you can see here, required and optional. I do want to point out that the SAT, ACT is optional for the fall of 2022 as well. Our application opened up on the 21st of last month. It is optional. So don't worry if you've had difficulties last year procuring a testing time. We totally understand that, as I'm sure a lot of institutions do. Let's go ahead and run through. If one of the programs I've talked about today has piqued your interest, I'm going to kind of breeze through this slide a little bit. But Bachelor's of Science, having a strong foundation in maths and sciences is important. Game design, having a strong foundation, and working on, teams, on, the humanities, so to speak. Bachelor's of Fine Arts is an art portfolio, music and sound design. There's a performance portfolio, and also our Bachelor of Arts in Game Design has a portfolio requirement as well. The details are all listed on our website. So again, if you have any nuanced questions, let me know in the chat, or definitely check out the website beyond today. Again, COVID-19 updates, unofficial transcripts are okay, SAT is optional, and we do have a lot of scholarships right now, which of course is only in your benefit. So definitely be sure to check those out. And if, again, you have questions or if you're interested beyond today about applying, I'd say aim for that priority deadline, just greater access to scholarships and guaranteed housing. If you want to connect with us past today, if anything, again, I said today resonated with you, and if you'd like to learn more, we have a lot of excellent opportunities. We have a deep dive series happening later this month. If you want to learn more about our program in depth from professors, just let us know. Otherwise, again, we have lots of opportunities on our website, and thank you so much, and have an excellent rest of your day.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike, for taking the time to share a little bit more about DigiPen Institute of Technology. Next up, we have EHL.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Daniel Flores, and I'm here to talk to you about EHL. So what you see on your screen is actually part of our 3-2-1 model, 3 locations to complete our program. On the left-hand side is Lausanne, Switzerland. In the middle is Pasug, Switzerland. And on the right-hand side is Singapore. Guess what? You don't need to know the local language. Programs taught entirely in English, and I'll go into a little bit more. So quick facts about EHL. This is our dress code. We wear suits every single day. The whole point is to prepare you for the real world. Have you ever tied a tie? Have you ever walked in heels? Have you ever done interviews? We want to prepare you to get a job when you graduate, and even better yet, to have internship experience as part of your curriculum. This is a truly international school. What does that mean? 70% of our students come from outside of Switzerland. From an American perspective, about 95 to 98% of the students are from other countries. Most of our students know 3 or more languages. We don't say that to freak you out, but guess what? Our curriculum embeds language, which means you will know at least 3 languages by the time you graduate. Why is that important? Do you want a job? This helps you get to that point. We have a lot of firsts. We are the first school in the world to ever offer hospitality management. We started off in 1893. In addition to that, we are currently ranked as the world's #1 hospitality and leisure management program. Key to note, hospitality is not just hotels and restaurants. Once again, hospitality is not just hotels and restaurants. This is the service industry, which is 1 in 10 jobs globally. I'll get into that a little bit later. Another first is we are the first school to have Swiss and American accreditation, which for you means if you want to work or continue your education worldwide, you can do that with our program. In addition, we were the first and only school with the Michelin star training restaurant 3 years in a row. So if you want to have that duck breast for dinner or that nice foie gras, I guess you have to do that on campus. I know, first world problems. So with the 3 different campuses, one of them is Pasug. It's perched in the hills. This is great if you love outdoor activities like skiing, snowboarding, or if you like to do medical spas. They have that all over the place. Once again, boutique style, so really great to build relationships with your professors and your peers. If you want the traditional university vibe, then that's what we have at our Lausanne campus. This one is very modern, very minimalistic. We have 2 brand new apartment buildings, 3 brand new dorms. We're going to be having an indoor gym, indoor pool, indoor spa. Once again, college life is rough. You need those mani-pedis. Boom, you get that right on campus. Once again, first world problems, but still, we want you to enjoy that experience. Also, to put it in context, in a 3-hour flight from Geneva, which is about a 50-minute train ride, you are in 36 countries, not cities, states, countries. So if you want to go to Milan, if you want to go to Paris, if you want to go to Portugal, which I highly recommend, you can do that by being based in Europe. If you want to explore the Asian market or ever see yourself just traveling there, our Singapore campus will help out with that. In a 3-hour flight, you're in up to 18 different countries. So you have the multi-campus experience. For general college advice, I always recommend doing this. Look at the courses that you're taking. For the first 6 months of our program, and mind you, we have one bachelor's degree. Yes, just one. Bachelor's of Science in International Hospitality Management. First semester, you switch off courses every single week, all hands-on. You make chocolates, make pastries, drink wine. Then you clean toilets, you make beds, you learn French, you visit and eat at a 3 Michelin star restaurant. Then after that, you have your first 6-month internship anywhere around the world. In your first year, up to 2 different countries, not including weekend trips. Then after that, you have 3 semesters of business courses, hospitality courses, and language courses. We offer German, French, Russian, Mandarin, Spanish. Once again, you will be picking up another language. Then after that, you have your second 6-month internship anywhere around the world. Final year, you take more management courses, elective courses, and you actually finish off the program becoming a consultant. You solve a real problem for a real company, either by yourself, with 5 other people. You say, you know what, I want to start my own business. We have a startup incubator on campus to help you with that, or you can do a research thesis. No matter what you do, you present this to your entire graduating class. And this is what leads us to have 96% of our students get a job within 6 months of graduation. And that's the highest of any school offering this program. Once again, this is not just hotels and restaurants. Under 50% of our alumni go into the traditional, what we think hospitality is. But guess what? This is a business school. If you hate people, this is a terrible industry to go in. If you love people, you in essence make a career out of being yourself. Banking, accounting, NGOs, education, healthcare, health and beauty, luxury goods. You can do that with a hospitality degree. In addition, we have over 30,000 alumni working in over 150 countries. These are some of the companies that hire our students for internships and or full-time jobs. And guess what? They are not just hotels and restaurants. I drive that point because I was a business student. I didn't know something like this existed, and I love people. So this is definitely not for everybody, but it could actually be for a lot of people. Application process, we are on the Common App. We actually have a special right now because it's our 126th anniversary, where if you are looking to apply before October 31st, your application fee is waived. We also have an online interview component, and then we also have another interview with a mix of alumni and or interns. The big question, financial aid, yes, we accept it. We also offer, most of our internships are paid, part-time employment, and other scholarships. So if you have questions, take a picture of this slide. This is my contact information. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Hopefully that was helpful.
Great, and thank you so much, Daniel, for taking the time to share a little bit more about EHL. Before I pass things off to our next institution, I do want to make a very quick plug for the Q&A. Thank you to those of you who have already been sending questions throughout the session, but don't forget that you can send those at any point about any of the institutions that you've already heard from or that you are about to hear from. But with that, I'll go ahead and pass things over to our next presenter, which is Full Sail University.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. My name is Emily Miller, and I'm here today to speak to you about Full Sail University. And just as I get my presentation loaded, I just want to say I love that you are here for this panel today. We are a group of schools that are all very creative and just a little bit outside of the box. And I love that we all get to be together and you get to hear from all of us at once. So Full Sail University, we are an entertainment school at the core. So everything that we do has
Hey,
to do
Emily.
with, yes.
I'm letting you know that we can see your Zoom video over
Okay,
top
thank
of
you
your
for letting me
slides.
know. I'll just
Of
get
course.
rid of that. I won't be able to see you, so if you wouldn't mind jumping in when I have I'm a little short on time.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, like I was saying, we are an entertainment school and we cover the whole spectrum of the entertainment industry. So we do film, music, games. It's just a little bit of a start. So I'm going to start by showing you a quick video and then I'll get more into the details of what we do. A few things you could see in that video. You could see a little bit of our campus. We are located in Winter Park, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. We're really close to the theme parks, not too far from the beaches. You could see a little bit about our degree programs, but really you could see students in action. And that's what we're all about at Full Sail, is hands-on learning. Our logo is an airplane. We believe that just like flying, you can't operate a plane without lots of hands-on practice. You can't create a video game without having your hands on the software. You can't be a music producer without being in the studio and touching all of the buttons. So that's what we do at Full Sail. We learn by doing. These are our degree areas that we offer at Full Sail. Right now we have over 50 degree programs to choose from. Some can be done on campus, some can be done online. There are some programs where you could do either. Each of our programs, though, is a little bit different than you may expect from a more traditional university. The first really big difference is that each program is accelerated. So where you would expect a full bachelor's degree to take about 4 years, at Full Sail, it takes just about 2 years. So for on-campus students, it's about 20 months. For online students, it's about 29 months. Either way, right around 2 years. And that is the same amount of credits as a 4-year school. We're just rolled into a shorter program. We also have a rolling admissions process. You may be familiar with that term. You can apply all throughout the year. But what's different about Full Sail is that we actually have a rolling start date. So we start a brand new class of students every single month throughout the year. That means if you graduate high school in May and you're ready to start right away, you don't have to wait until that traditional August start date, or you could wait longer. You can wait until December, February, whenever you want. We're always starting a new class. We also offer an initiative for our graduates to come back and retake courses for free in their field for the rest of their lives. And this is super important because for any of these industries, from video games to filming and everything in between, the technology changes super, super quickly. You probably know that just by paying attention to the media. So we want our students to always be up to date on technology so that way they can remain employable. So they can come back, retake these courses. And again, that's free for the rest of your life after you graduate. And we also have a big focus on career development. We want you to be able to do well in your future job, but we also want to prepare you to get a job. I think each university so far has emphasized how important that part is. So 2 of the many things that we do are have students create portfolio projects through their program, creating just pieces of work that they can show to potential employers. And then also they take 7 career module courses in areas like networking, resume writing, interview skills, to prepare them for when they do start applying for jobs. We've had graduates work on some really cool things throughout the years. Just this past summer, we had graduates credited on some of the big blockbusters, including the new Cruella movie, the new Suicide Squad, and the new Space Jam movie. Lots of remakes this summer. But we've had graduates that have won awards throughout the past year. We had 85 of them that were nominated for Academy Awards, 59 were Grammy Awards, and then over 200 that worked on Game Award winning projects, including The Last of Us 2, which was Game of the Year last December. And our graduates have gone on to work in kind of all areas of the industry. Some students want to work for large companies like Blizzard or Disney. Some want to work for small companies or indie companies, and others still want to be entrepreneurs and open their own company. We've had graduates go in all directions, so just know that you could take that in whichever direction that you would like. On our campus, we have a lot of clubs and organizations. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to skip over this. You can check them out on our website, but I do want to quickly plug our Full Sail Armada esports team. If you're a gamer and you are pretty good at it, you could always try out to be part of our Armada team. We play on campus in our Full Sail University Orlando Health Fortress. This is currently the largest esports arena on a college campus in the United States, so we're always excited about that. And our students compete in about 10 games right now, including Super Smash Brothers, Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty, and League of Legends. So if you are a student that's interested in pursuing an entertainment career, you'd like to do that in Florida or online, and you'd like to have an accelerated program, the first thing you would do to get started is reach out to our admissions team. They'll go through and do either a short interview for underclassmen students or a longer interview for seniors. And that'll just help you figure out if you are a good fit for us and if we are a good fit for you and where you're trying to go with your career. A couple of really quick things. We do not have a minimum GPA requirement, and we also don't require the SAT or ACT. You can check out our scholarship guide on our website, and I will put a link to our website in the chat along with my email here. You can reach out anytime for questions. So thank you all for being here today. Again, my name's Emily Miller. Reach out at any time, and hope you all have a great afternoon.
Great. Thank you so much, Emily, for taking the time to share a little bit more about Full Sail University. And last but certainly not least, in today's session, we have Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I am going to share this part of my screen so you can see a little bit of our student work while I am talking here. All right, so to begin, we are the Savannah College of Art and Design. My name is Wes. I'm actually one of the assistant directors of admission for SCAD. Some people don't know a whole lot about us, so I always like to start with a little bit of history. So SCAD was founded in Savannah, Georgia in 1978 by Paula Wallace. Paula Wallace is actually still our current president to this day, one and only president of Savannah College of Art and Design. She was a former art teacher, and the whole reason that we exist is because she saw a problem that she wanted to solve. She noticed that a lot of creative students with creative minds were being ushered away from creative careers the older that they got, right? It's this whole notion of the starving artist, that you can't make a living doing art and design. We exist literally to prove that that was not true. Started with one building and about 75 students in 1979. Currently, we have over 15,000 students across all of our campuses. Couple of the things that I want you to take away from that. We have students representing all 50 states. Folks come from all over the country to experience SCAD. We have students from over 100 countries. Even in Savannah, Georgia, our campus population is over 25% international at the moment. A couple of the highlights about SCAD that I like to point out as you see some of our student work in our programs. One thing I want you to take away is the ability to broaden your horizons. At SCAD, we never want you to put yourself in a box, right? So we have 4 campus locations, obviously our original in Savannah, Georgia. We have one in Atlanta, Georgia. The main difference between those two is just environment. Some people want the smaller city feel of Savannah. Some people want the large metro area experience, the hustle and bustle of a big city like Atlanta. A third campus is obviously online. You can find on our website that a good portion of our degree programs are offered fully online through our e-learning platform. We also do have a 4th campus. That 4th campus is in Lacoste, France. That's not somewhere you'd spend all 4 years. It's more like a study abroad program, but you could spend 10 weeks there, one of our quarters, and you're always going to be around people who are studying similar things to you. As well as broadening your horizons, maybe geographically, we also want you to know that you have so many opportunities at SCAD, right? We have over 100 degree programs. So right around 40 majors and about 75 minors that can be tailored to really match any sort of creative career goal. One of the other main takeaways, you'll hear this word a lot when it comes to SCAD, collaborate, right? I said, don't put yourself in a box. So we want you to have the ability to work with students from other backgrounds and to work with big name companies and professors that have a lot of experience. So we have a SCAD Pro program. It's an in-house internship that also counts as class credit. So that allows you as a student to actually work with Fortune 500 companies and put that on your resume when that work is done. Those aren't hypothetical classroom situations. Those are actual companies that come to SCAD and allow you to get real world experience even as you're getting class credit. We also want you to collaborate with one another. So we pride ourselves on small class sizes. Largest class that you would ever have at SCAD is 30 students. As you get into those older, more advanced classes, or more advanced years, you're going to see more like 14 or 15 students. We also want you to collaborate with our faculty because they come to us with an average of about 10 years experience in the industry that they teach. Our other big takeaway is resources, right? Because we know that you need other things to help you succeed. Your success isn't just in the classroom. It happens on a much broader scale than that. So things like SCAD AMP, a program where we amplify your voice. It's communication coaching. That sometimes scares people, right? Because a lot of times students with creative minds, they want to do really great work, but they really want to do it alone, or they're used to doing it just at their computer. And I like to tell people that if you know how to do great work, but you don't know how to talk about it or market it, then what you have is great work at home. And that is not the purpose of what we do at SCAD. We're always thinking about the next big thing. So we want to focus on your ability to market yourself and market your work and talk about what you do. All of those things sort of come together to get to this 99% employment rate, which is something you'll hear us talk a lot about. For the last 4 years running, had a 99% employment rate. Within 10 months of graduation, students were either employed, seeking further education, or doing both. The kicker on that one is that 91% of those were in the creative field that they came to study. That's not magic. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens because we do really intentional things to make that happen in the classroom and outside of it to make our students successful. If any of these things really sort of struck a chord with you, or you want to know more, our application process is something that sets us apart. We are very simple when it comes to that. So we actually don't front load our application process. We don't require things like transcripts and whatnot up front. If you go to our website, our application is very basic. It's biographical and demographical. It takes 5 to 7 minutes. The reason we do that is just to get you in the system, because that process can be really stressful. And we think you should have someone on our end to help you out. So you do a very basic application without having to submit any additional materials. We pair you with an admissions advisor so that you have one person who will work with you through the rest of the SCAD application process, somebody you can go to with all of your questions to help get you there and answer anything that you might need to know. The main takeaway for me about SCAD, there's a reason for our motto. You're going to see it says the University for Creative Careers. And I tell people we could have chosen the University for Creativity. That would have fit, but we chose Creative Careers for a reason. And it's because we think we have to bring you to SCAD with talent that you already possess, but then give you those extra tools and extra resources to do whatever the next big thing is once you leave us. So again, I'll put my contact information in the box. I appreciate everyone being here today and hope to see you at SCAD.
Great. Thank you so much, Wes, for taking a little bit of time to share a little bit more about SCAD. I really appreciate it. At this point, I will encourage all of our presenters to rejoin us over video, and we'll pose a few questions to the group. I see some great questions coming in through the Q&A as well. So thank you to everyone for sending those questions that way too. So we'll ask our presenters to go ahead and answer these questions in the order that they just presented to help with that fun muting and unmuting that comes with Zoom. But we'll go ahead and get started with the question of what advice would you give students currently going through the college search process?
Awesome. I guess I'll go ahead and start off. I tell everyone, ask as many questions as you have and then ask more, and don't be afraid to. Really key word, don't be afraid to. I think that a lot of students are intimidated by the process, and that's okay, that's natural. But keep in mind, again, we have entire offices of staff, and this applies for, I'm sure, most colleges, that are ready to answer any and all questions that you have. Even if you think it's silly, even if you think it's dumb, I promise you that it's not. Use the resources available to you and definitely advocate for yourself.
So for me, I think it's important that you don't settle on a school. These should be the best 3 to 5 years of your life. What does that look like for you? Are you in a Harry Potter campus? Are you in the middle of a city? Are you on a farm with goats? We all want something different. So make sure that you write down what you're specifically looking for, because if a school doesn't have it, don't settle. It's your time, it's your money. Make sure you're putting it to good work. And also talk to students, talk to alumni, keep on talking to us. We want to make sure you go to the right school that fits your need.
So my advice for going through the college search process, as you're finding schools to apply to as many scholarships as you possibly can. It's so important to just apply. And I know it's tedious. You have to write an essay for each one, and sometimes they're long, but the worst thing that can happen is you wasted a little time writing an essay. Best thing that could happen is all of your tuition is covered. So just apply to any you can through your universities, through your hometown, national organizations, as many as you can.
So for me, I am probably a little bit biased. Before I became an assistant director of admission, I actually did on-campus admission. So my number one piece of advice for everyone, if you have the chance, is visit. Visit places that you are applying, visit places that you are serious about, do a campus tour, ask all of your questions. Those tour guides exist for a reason. Find students to ask. I know we use student reps for our tours as well, but I like to tell people a lot of this information that we put in slideshows or that we read off bullet points, right? We could give to you in an email if we had the time and wherewithal. What I can't give you in an email or a presentation is the feeling that you will get of actually being on campus. So my number one piece of advice is always to visit somewhere if you have the chance.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing that little piece of advice, a little token of wisdom for our students today. Next, we'll have everyone share what is your biggest takeaway, your one biggest takeaway about your institution coming out of this presentation today.
Good question. I would say one of the biggest takeaways, there's so many, it's hard to choose from, but again, I would say if you're looking for an education that's very hands-on, if you want to learn by doing, if you want to work on game teams, if you want to learn under professors that, you know, they have that experience, they've worked in the industry, if that's your style of learning, if you find that you learn by, again, practically applying your skills, then hopefully it would be a pretty good fit for you. And again, just let us know if you have more questions.
I always repeat myself with this one. Hospitality is not just hotels and restaurants. It's a common misconception all throughout the world. But the reality is, if you love people and you also see yourself starting your own company, that's where hospitality helps you. But once again, if you hate people, study something else. This is terrible for you. But definitely keep an open mind too. And hospitality is definitely a great fit for a lot of people. They just don't know it yet.
The main takeaway for Full Sail University is just our motto, which I said during the video. If you're serious about your dream, we'll take your dream seriously. It doesn't matter what that dream is. If you're trying to get into an entertainment career in any of the areas that we offer, we are going to invest our time and resources and career development into helping you get to where you want to go. So that's our motto, and that's what we're all about.
The one thing to remember is that we are not an art school, and sometimes that catches people off guard because it's built into our name, right? We're the Savannah College of Art and Design, and if we tried to change the name now, we'd have to rebrand all of our materials, so that's not going to happen. But it is not so much being an art school when people think about painting and photography, which we offer those kinds of things when you're doing animation and illustration. but think more along the lines of being an art and design university. So it's things like user experience, it's things like industrial design, the business of beauty and fragrance within our fashion program. Those aren't the first things people think of when they think of art, but all of them are someone's creative product. So it's a lot more, it's about a lot more than just looking for an art school.
Wonderful. Thank you all once again. Our next question is, what is one myth that you'd like to debunk on the college admissions process?
Ooh, there's a lot. I don't know if I would categorize this as a myth, but I'll try to spin it that way. And that's that, it's a painful and lonely process. I understand applying to college is stressful in its very own unique way. But it doesn't have to be like as strenuous as you might make it out to be. And what I mean is, like, for instance, at DigiPen, if you have questions, if you want to meet with professors before you're even a student, absolutely, we can make that happen. If you want to have art portfolio reviews, if you want to meet with current students online on campus, if you want to, get any of those perspectives, again, keep us in the loop. Like, if you have the hard questions, like you want to ask professors, what will my jobs look like? What kind of careers and salaries can I get when I graduate with this specific program or that one? And we're more than happy to really sit down and make that process as transparent and as clean as possible for you.
I think maybe seeing it as overwhelming. It is overwhelming if you think about doing everything all at once. Don't do that to yourself. Break everything up. Information is readily available online. Yes, you actually have to take time to look at the website, but do that. And then also, that's what you have people like us for. When I was in college, or when I was in high school, nobody like me existed. So it was really hard to get information. I had to do everything on my own, but you all have resources to answer specific questions. And exactly like what Mike said, talk to students, talk to faculty. That makes your life so much easier. And also, like what Wes said, when you're on campus, you get a feeling, you get an emotion. So important. You should also get that when you're talking to students and talking to professors. So that's what makes it a little less overwhelming, because you find out sooner than later that, hey, this is a good fit, or nah, I'm good.
I think one myth that's kind of still really pertinent today is just that having, 100% all A's in high school, super high test scores is the most important thing on your application. A lot of universities, especially creative ones, are moving toward looking at the whole of who you are, what you're passionate about, what your creative abilities are, much more so than how you take a test. So I know a lot of universities are test optional these days. And like with Wholesale, we don't even have a minimum GPA requirement. We like to look at, what you want to do creatively rather than maybe how you performed in a high school classroom.
For me, sort of piggybacking off of a little bit of everybody's in a certain way, it's this myth that you have to know, right? That you have to know everything at this very moment in your life, that you have to know exactly what program you want to do, exactly what career you want to do. And that creates a lot of this pressure, right? In this stressful situation of the application process. This is one of the great things about all of us being here in sort of this creative field, is that schools like ours want you to explore. So if you're not 100% certain, if you don't know for sure, that's okay, right? And someone should tell you that that's okay, because we want you to explore that sort of creative side and then find yourself at whatever school is the right fit for you, because that's what's going to make it best for you in the end.
Great. Thank you all so much. Those are some great myths to debunk. Next, I'm going to throw you all a little bit of a curveball, but I think we'll have everyone share either a fun fact or a favorite tradition on your campus.
I love that one. So at DigiPen, I'm just going to come out and say it like no filter. We're pretty nerdy, right? Like it takes a certain type of person to want to, go into these industries. And we kind of celebrate that in almost everything that we do. So like all the clubs that you find on campus are very slanted towards those interests. So we have LAN parties on campus every semester. So imagine an entire college campus like with pizza and video games, and like this floor is doing Super Smash Brothers, but that floor is doing D&D. I mean, we're the DigiPen Dragons. It's kind of implied. So I would say we have a lot of traditions, and if you have interests, if you have specific niches that you're interested in, I can guarantee you that there's some stretch of students at DigiPen that would celebrate that with you.
So 3 times a year, we have unique events to EHL. 2 of them are called Fête Finale, which is pretty much a celebration for the upcoming graduates and their theme parties. So we've had something like Arabian Nights, Speak Easy, and everybody dresses up in it. It's like a straight up event. Like a hospitality school, once again, creating experiences, this is an event. And then because we are so international, we also celebrate cultures, and we do what's called Fête Universal, which is once a year. So there you have different booths from different parts of the world where you're serving local drinks, local food. So that way you're sharing it with everybody. And it's also one big party. So we like to have a really good time. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it's really, really good.
So mine is not a tradition, but rather a fun fact. This is one of my favorite facts about Full Sail, is that we started in the back of a van, which to me just sounds super sketchy. Back in 1979 up in Ohio, our founders bought just an old van that they turned into a mobile recording studio. They called it the Dream Machine. And the very first program they offered was recording arts. Just it was a workshop on how to learn how to be a recording artist. From there, they moved down to Florida, got the campus up and running, but we literally started in the back of a van. And if you told your parents that back in the 1970s, I don't know if that would be okay, but if you told them now, they'd be like, you're not going there. So I just always am very amused by that.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hate to have to follow that one, Emily. That one's tough. That's fun fact for me, because I talked a lot about innovation or collaboration or broadening your horizons. I answered this question to someone in the chat about student life and organizations and clubs and things. So one of my favorite things about SCAD is that we have over 100 student clubs. But if you come to SCAD and there's a club that you want to join but don't see, you can start one yourself. If you can find 10 interested students and a faculty member who will oversee that club. The reason that that is my favorite fact about SCAD is because sometimes people don't know the ground that they're breaking. So our jewelry major actually started as a student club. It was fashion students who got together that were specifically interested in jewelry. The club grew so large that we made a minor out of it. It then grew even larger. We were able to make an entire curriculum and a major out of it. So you would come to SCAD, start your own fun little club, and someone 10 years from now might be getting a degree in whatever your club was.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you all so much for sharing those fun facts and traditions. I always like ending on that note. I think it's just fun. I guess that's how a fun fact works. But that will conclude the time that we have for our session here today. And so I thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. A huge thank you to our presenters as well for taking the time to share a little bit more about their institutions. Before we wrap things up, I do have a few quick housekeeping notes. There will be a very quick 5-question survey that will appear on your screen as soon as this session concludes. If you don't mind filling that out, it's very helpful for us to get some feedback as we continue to plan events such as these. And I do want to remind everyone that this session, as well as the entire YesPrep Virtual College Fair, was recorded, and those recordings will be available tomorrow at strivescan.com/YesPrep. So if you need to return to any of this information, or if you'd like to check out any of the other institutions that presented today, you'll be able to do so at that website through those recordings tomorrow. So thank you once again to our presenters. Thank you once again to all of the students in our audience, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful remainder of their day.